Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the BATTASS Podcast, the Batman the Animated Series show podcast, where we talk about Batman the Animated Series, and in this case, Batman Beyond. My name is Clay McCormick. With me, as always, is Sean Murphy. How you doing, Sean?
I'm excited to be here face to face.
Yes,
And the thing that I'm noticing now is we're both wearing our Cobra shirts.
yes,
The sweet, sweet, terrible Stallone movie from the 80s.
yes. We're not wearing G.I. Joe shirts, not that Cobra, and
No,
we're not representing the overpriced healthcare system
that's
called Cobra.
fair. Yeah. Why would you wear that shirt?
I don't know. I think it needs coverage.
I feel like with Cobra, I love the idea of the movie. I like the posters. I'm a Stallone fan,
Hmm.
but I almost want to make a comic about that looks like the movie I wanted to see.
Hmm.
You know,
Just cutting pizza with scissors,
just a pizza massacre.
keeping your gun parts in the fridge in an old egg carton.
It's so great. I haven't seen it for a while.
Yeah, the
Uh,
movie is a lot of fun, but there's a tell, I think, for a lot of movies, especially movies that have like badass type characters in it, when they're
yeah,
really reaching to make these characters interesting,
yeah,
and that's when they make them really quirky. Like
right,
they give them lots of quirks.
right.
Like in Cobra, he cuts the pizza with scissors. He
Yeah,
keeps his gun parts in the fridge.
yeah,
He's constantly talking about food.
yeah,
It's these little kind of
yeah,
hacky things that they try to make the guy interesting because
yeah.
there's not really much of a character there.
I was telling you earlier that I feel like Stallone would write a really great book on film and how to make great films because I think he is capable of that.
Mm,
But then he makes a lot of films that's really, really bad. And I have a hard time squaring the fact that he seems to say a lot of brilliant things about making movies. And he's
yeah.
like a one-man production team in a lot of ways, right?
Mm,
Then again, he does a lot of garbage too,
yeah.
and I don't know how to describe that.
There's lessons in garbage too. You know,
Lessons in the garbage.
as long as you if he's got enough distance on it that he can pull something interesting or important out of it, I guess it was worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
Never take a bet or listen to anything Arnold Schwarzenegger tells you. I think is what you take away from that.
Do you think that's real? That Schwarzenegger sort of fooled him into doing bad movies, or do you think that's revisionist history and Arnold trying to dunk on his friend?
I don't know. I mean, Schwarzenegger has said that that was what happened, but whether or not he made that story up, I don't know. Or
Talking about don't.
Step where my mom will
Right.
shoot. Yeah, supposedly, in order to make Stallone look like an idiot,
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger said he was going to do that movie,
Right.
and then Stallone was like, "No, I got to get to it first."
Right.
And
Right. He
Schwarzenegger sat back and laughed at him.
so he screwed with him like he screwed with Lou Ferrigno
Yeah,
and Pumping Iron.
or how he screwed with Jesse Ventura on Predator. So he's
Yeah.
not above messing with people.
Huh. Trying to think of a segue.
Anyway, speaking of messing with people, the two episodes we're talking about today are Revenant and Babel. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Revenant. All right, Revenant, written by Hilary J. Bader, directed by Kyung-Won Lim. And this one, after a series of unexplained events, all the kids in Terry's class think that the ghost of a dead student is haunting their high school. But Batman soon discovers the real cause, Willie Watt, who has developed powerful new psychic/extrasensory abilities. And at no point does he fight a bear, like in the other Revenant, which would be fun.
I feel like Revenant and Babel, both of these episodes have semi-biblical names.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he gets his power from the golem,
Yeah.
which I completely forgot about.
Yeah, so Willie Watts was this nerdy kid who was connected to his dad's construction Gundam, and he used him to get a girl or something like that, right? And
Yeah.
now he's been in JV, locked up, and he's jacked. Still has a bowl cut.
Yes.
Uh, and he's been, I guess, escaping to use his psionic powers to
Yeah.
make the
Well,
world
he
better
hasn't been
place.
escaping. He's been doing it
Oh,
from the cell, I think.
oh,
I think. because Batman Terry asks him why he doesn't just escape, and he's like, "Well,
Right.
I'm going to be out of here in 2 months anyway." But has he
Right.
been? I don't think he's been escaping at night to do it.
Well, he was able to fly through the window, and I thought maybe because so all right, so he's 12 miles from Hill High.
Yeah,
He can move things from that distance. That's like Jean Grey level.
he's incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this kid's
I feel like this is the second episode where someone has powers where they're way overpowered. I think was it Mind Games?
yeah.
Was it the last one?
Moving things around with your mind 12 miles away from a school seems like Jean Grey level
Yeah,
hero clicks ability. Like that's like a level 5 or something,
yeah.
right? I forget what the levels are in mutants.
Ooh, I don't know. I only know the backs of the Marvel trading cards, and
Okay.
it's been a long time.
Let's expand it beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got very intense powers. The first half of this episode feels like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode to me,
Yeah.
which is fun.
Yeah.
Because it's about a bunch of kids at high school who think they're dealing with
Right.
a ghost that apparently makes everyone super horny
Yeah.
because these girls are into this supposed ghost.
Mm.
The ghost of Garrison Jacobs, I think is his name.
Which has nothing to do with the actual ghost.
No,
It's
no, it's just a complete
yeah.
story about a kid who was killed while they were building the East Wing.
Right.
It
Wait,
has
did we ever
nothing to
find
do.
out how this kid died?
No, no.
Just fell in a manhole or
Yeah,
fell through some
construction
scaffolding?
accident, I guess.
It happens.
Yeah,
High school's dangerous, man.
yeah.
It's not just bullies anymore.
But yeah, all the girls are getting really into the prospect of there being a poltergeist,
There was
a
one,
sexy
the
poltergeist.
girl with the white hair. First of all, there's a few girls when they have towels on their heads, they all look the same.
Yes.
And one was talking about him, and she had a thinly veiled sex reference. I can't remember what it was now. I remember looking over you on the couch.
Yeah, it's a little. They get a little bit spicy
Yeah, he's
about
welcome to blank my blankety blank. Yeah, sorry.
it's it was so hot we had to beep it. Like just
Exactly.
yeah.
They animated her hand over her midsection while she was saying it, and I was like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah, I think that most of the people who work on these shows are secret pervs. I think
yeah,
we always find a way to make
yeah."
sneak in little pervy details, I think. Yeah, the girls really they do a seance that's ruined by Seth Green as Nelson, who I assume is returning as that character from previous Willie Watt episode.
So Seth Green,
Mhm.
is he like have one of those the syndrome where he doesn't age?
It seems like it.
What does he look like now?
He looks like Seth Green.
The same?
Yeah.
He's been for the last 30 years. He's got the 70s show where that the kid didn't age. Gary Oldman.
Nope.
Nope.
Coleman?
Thank you. It's not racist. Don't edit this out. This is fine. Barry Coleman disease where you don't age or something.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Webster? Are you thinking of Webster?
Yeah, who's racist?
Because
I
I
think
can't
no.
remember which one is which. Either way,
No,
I get your point.
Webster. I don't know what happened to that kid. Keep talking. I'll find out.
But yeah, Seth Green's back. I mean, he's one of two recognizable voices in these two episodes. Oh, actually, the principal of the school is Getty Watanabe, who plays is it he's the Japanese guy who's in all the
Mhm.
80s movies.
Right.
Um,
Oh, got it. Yeah.
yeah, he's in UHF. He's the karate guy in UHF. He pops up and stuff all the time.
Holy shit. So Webster's real name is Emmanuel Lewis.
Hmm.
He's 51 years old.
Hmm.
He's 4'3" now,
Hmm.
and he looks like my black lesbian friend. He does. I can't wait to fuck with him. Um, I thought Gary Coleman had
Coleman.
Coleman had a similar
He might. I don't know.
complexion.
I'm not sure.
I'll look that up.
Okay, awesome. Good. Um,
Coleman, you said? Who's Gary Oldman?
who is Gary Oldman?
He's nobody.
He's Commissioner Gordon from the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, he's not a short black dude.
No, he's not. He did once play a little person in a movie once, which was very strange.
So Gary Coleman. Oh, I didn't know he passed away. He died at 42.
Hmm.
2010. I do kind of remember that now.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah. I don't know if he had a disease or a handicap. I don't know the right way to say it. Anyway, let's talk about something positive.
Yeah. How does he get these powers? I don't remember what happens at the end of the episode.
He was controlling this golem robot Gundam thing,
Yeah,
and I don't know. I assume that he got struck by lightning or
sure.
something, and
Yeah. And then he just got buff on his own.
yeah, the
'Cause
old-fashioned
yeah,
way.
Terry goes to see him at Juvie or wherever he is, and he's ripped.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it's a weird. What do you think about bringing him back? This character. It's a weird way to bring him back.
I kind of missed the big Gundam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it kind of.
it's kind of part of the deal.
Yeah,
Now he's like Jean Grey. I feel like they turned him from whatever he was into a new character, and I don't know. I feel like if you did this, I just would like to have seen the Gundam worked in. But
yeah. I'm surprised that they gave him these new powers that were completely separate from the big mech monster.
yeah,
Because you would think it would be more like if he gets struck by lightning or whatever. Now he doesn't need the helmet to control the movement. Like he can.
yeah,
That's where what his powers are,
yeah.
localized to the giant mech
Yeah,
monster.
like having Jean Grey abilities over a big mech is already pretty powerful, but having him have these abilities over everything
Yeah.
is a big leap.
Yeah. I would like to see a version of this where the giant mech shows up to school
Yeah,
and all the girls think it's the ghost of a sexy guy.
yeah. In the shower, it's like, oh, he's so hot. This giant mech writing things in the mist.
Yeah,
Still
he's a lot bigger and mechanical than he looks in his yearbook photo.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of overpowering characters. Like, I feel like limiting characters' powers and handicapping them
Mhm.
is helpful to narrow the scope of the
Yeah,
plot. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So if someone's too powerful, I kind of get lost in that,
Yeah.
honestly.
It's strange that they chose this guy to do this story. 'Cause
Yeah,
I assume they only chose this guy because he's a returning character and that kind of is important. 'Cause he's a guy who was like a twerp who was picked on and stuff.
yeah,
But like you could do this with anybody, really. It doesn't need to be.
yeah. What about the character whose dad is underground? It looks like Clayface.
Oh
He's
yeah.
part of the Rock,
hmm
so he can make rock monsters and do things.
hmm
Feel like that character is powerful enough to pull off some of the boogeyman.
The guy who's underground.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but his daughter was sort of an innocent bystander in all this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess there's other people that I feel like could have pulled this off a little bit more convincingly
Yeah.
than this nerdy kid who was friends with a Gundam.
Yeah. It's a weird pull, and it kind of points to something I want to talk about a bit when we do the next episode of the villains on the show.
Yeah.
Um,
I see you writing stuff down while we were watching.
always take notes.
That's impressive, man. You take this shit seriously.
Speaking of villains, Terry is in the Batcave playing fetch with Ace on the edge of a cliff, which I thought was a little bit irresponsible.
You know what? He's a teenager, man. You're not gonna get everything out of him.
Yeah. We get
I don't even know what
Bruce.
that means.
We get Bruce talking about how he has experience with demons and witch boys, which I know is a reference to the Etrigan episode. But
Yeah.
sounds very strange when you
Then
say it out loud.
he said zombies too.
He does say zombies.
And I was like, what is that? And I thought, okay, racial cool. There was a TAS episode where there's flashback to Egypt and there was like a zombie looking queen character who's so
Mhm.
okay. But then Bruce goes, I don't know, this feels very high school. Felt really weird coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. Well, what's fun about that scene too is when it starts, Bruce is the one. Terry's talking about this ghost, and Bruce is the one who's like, "You don't actually believe it's a ghost, do you?"
Mhm.
And he's like, "Well, what? You don't believe in ghosts?" And you would think him to be like, "Of course not." He's like, "No, I do.
Yeah, yeah,
I've fought zombies and witch boys and demons. I've seen it all."
yeah. You should have said, you know it's a ghost, right? Because I've seen witch zombies and witch boys and what I've heard.
Ghosts are real. I would tell you otherwise if I knew.
Yeah, you're right. Bruce's setup did not match the payoff in the direction that he took the rest of his rest of his comments.
It is pretty funny though, because it's almost like, no, I believe in that stuff, but this isn't that.
Wow, this is serious too. This isn't like zombies and witch boys.
No, no. Um, yeah. So overall, I don't know. This one's fine.
Yep.
It's got a really sad ending for Willie, where he's kind of he's just a kind of a pathetic character who
Yeah.
ends up in this another lockup, but now he's got a weird hat that he wears that limits his
Yeah.
powers.
That. So I'm struggling to find something I want to draw in there.
Yeah,
I might want to draw him in his cell with his weird glittery hat, which crosses him, which isn't that great,
yeah.
honestly. I don't know what else I'd. Yeah. Nothing set out for me.
I would draw Terry playing fetch with Ace and make sure that Bruce is like, "What are you doing?"
Dogs aren't that smart. They will jump over cliffs for or whatever he's throwing at him. Yeah. Can I also say I think that Bruce's outfit is not good enough. He's wearing a suit with like a low rectangle V,
Mm-hmm.
no tie, and he's
Like
just this
turtleneck,
like
right? Kind of. Yeah.
yeah, with a cane. He's just like this lanky scarecrow. Nothing. I don't know. I feel like that his costume would have been costume, his suit, whatever the hell he wears all the time would have been better. They something more dynamic. He looks a little bit like paper doll thin.
Hmm.
You know. I don't know.
Well, do you think he's supposed to look frail, or do you
Right.
think he's supposed to look old but still powerful?
Well, he doesn't look old, but still powerful. Like I know he's powerful because he's Bruce, but he
Right.
looks pretty waifish.
Yeah.
That's the right word.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think that's by design, or do you think that's a mistake?
Uh, I don't know. It's by design, but I don't think it works. I'd rather see him smartened up a little bit more in
Hmm.
a suit. I mean, you can have him be frail and have a better design to his the clothes he wears.
Yeah.
You can still have him bent over, cane, and like I drew Bruce as with Scott Snyder. There was a Detective Number 27. We did a short story, 12 pages, and Bruce was Mifune from
Oh, sure.
there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So he had a man bun and a beard and all that. He's missing an arm, and I
Hmm.
drew him in this gi or this monk like Japanese outfit. It was in the script. It wasn't my idea,
Hmm.
but I enjoyed it. But yeah, I still drew him bent over and frail, small, and hobbling through like Yoda in a way.
Hmm.
But it just looked better. He didn't look like a flimsy, half-designed suit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Excuse me. Um, I kind of, I always kind of liked his design in this. Jeez, excuse me. Um, let's see. I do like that
I'll
uh,
pull it up. You keep talking.
he's recognizably old,
Yeah,
but he's still got a looming presence because he's so kind of arched over on the top. So he's got these big, wide shoulders.
right.
Um, but his head's kind of like sunken down beneath
Yeah,
the arch a bit.
his posture's
Oh, I guess
fine.
his posture's actually pretty good. Yeah,
But like, look at him here. It's just, I don't know. I think I could use something else. A bit,
little more color, a little flair.
a little more flair. It's just a black suit. Like he looks like Scarecrow. If I covered his face up, he looks like
That's true.
season four
Yeah, I
Scarecrow.
can see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It translates into the comics decently well. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's. I think it's in line with all the other designs in the show, where it's
yeah.
very limited and very.
It's too. Oh man, look at that. I googled something and my own shit came up.
Oh, there you go.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Famous, everybody. Yeah. What is that?
I really. I'll be honest with you. When they started coming out with the new line of toys, the animated series toys,
Yeah.
I did not buy the Old Man Bruce and Terry Batman Beyond 2 set.
Oh wait, I'm gonna Google that right now.
It's super expensive.
I'm not gonna buy it. Just looking at it.
Okay. Yeah,
You there?
it's
Oh, a two set. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's a
it right
two
there.
set.
So on I don't know. I'm gonna get viruses. Mercari.
Some weird website.
$550
Yeah,
unopened. Yeah. It
yeah,
comes with Ace too though.
it
So
does. It
there you
does.
go.
Oh, that makes it that yeah. 50 by itself with Ace 550.
Yeah, wow. I mean the figures look pretty good. I don't
Yeah,
know. Do they bend at the elbows? I think they do.
yeah. I think they've got all the same pivot
Points of
points.
articulation.
Yeah, points of articulation that line has, which are great.
Yeah. All right. It's pretty good. So why is it so expensive? Are they
'Cause they don't make it anymore. I think it was limited, and they don't.
right?
It's you can't get it. I really regret not getting that, and I also really regret not getting the Phantasm set, which is
Right.
equally out of print.
So this is on eBay. It's a 3-pack. The Phantasms. You mean like when you got the Phantasm and revealed who the bad guy was before the movie actually came out?
Oh no, I mean like of the same toys as these ones, but it was a
Oh,
2-pack of Batman and Phantasm.
got it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Only 400 on eBay
Only 400. Yeah.
with a 2-year protection plan.
Yeah. It's funny. Look at Bruce's like gothy makeup
Yeah,
size.
it's great. Those figures are great.
They look good, man.
I wish McFarlane would like reignite that line because those figures are really good,
Yeah.
and it would be nice to be able to buy them at a reasonable price.
I know. Man, nice eyeliner, Bruce. You're buying yeah, I don't know. Ace. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know. So you said you would draw.
Know what I would draw. I mean, would you do the helmet or would you redesign Old Man Bruce?
Yeah, I'd redesign
Which I don't think we
Bruce.
ever talked about before, so this is the first.
Yeah, so I know that he's supposed to be. So all right, so I did my Bruce and Men Beyond White
Hmm.
Knight, and I drew him more heroic, and he's probably in his like early 60s. He could technically have a 6-pack if he's kicking ass in jail for 10 years.
Hmm.
Get good
A
genes,
lot of
but
sit-ups,
a lot
yeah.
of setups. Yeah, good strong jaw. But I know that that they wanted to make him slightly weaker and vulnerable. So they made him more jowly. It is the way his chin sort of juts down below his jaw. I don't know. He looks a little like he's chewing his gum when he talks, like he's kind of doing like
Yeah, like an old man. Yeah,
that. Um, yeah. Well, it always bugged me. I think they made him too feeble.
yeah.
Even as a kid, I was like, I would like him to be slightly more heroic looking.
I like it because he effectively looks as though he's at any point going to tell you to get off of his lawn.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole vibe of him in this show,
Yeah.
which I think works pretty well.
Right. Yeah.
This is why we shouldn't do it in person because we're just looking at toys.
Yeah. We should put it in the order or two.
What would I draw? Yeah, those look good.
Yeah.
That's a great Terry figure.
The Terry figure looks great, but the Bruce figure, it's like a whole lot of nothing going on.
Yeah,
You have like a priest's, like the simplicity of his sport jacket and his pants. It's like nothing going on. Like give him a belt, give him some kind of flair on the cuffs of his jacket or something. I don't know. Even the cane, like there's nothing bat-ish about the cane. You could have easily made like a subtle bat something.
yeah.
I don't know.
Give him some like nice white spats on his shoes or something to break up
Yeah,
all the black.
that's fancy. Yeah, he looks under designed compared to the other two. Yeah. So what were we gonna say?
I was just like, what would I draw? I don't know. It's kind of there's a lot of stuff that happens in it,
Mhm.
but there's nothing that's really that dynamic about it. I mean, I guess the fight with Willie at the end is kind of fun, but even that doesn't really do anything that cool. It's got a little
Right.
bit of manga anime in it, but yeah, I guess maybe I would do the fight at the end
Right.
because that'd be kind of fun to do some of the tossing him around with his mind and stuff like that.
What if, to go back to this, Bruce is too simple looking.
Yeah.
What if you remember in Kingdom Come when he had hurt his back so much he was
Mhm.
wearing like a back brace, a sci-fi looking thing, and
Yeah.
he held his chin up? What if he had some version of that in this cartoon?
Mm.
He's wearing um some kind of brace that held him up, some kind of sci-fi. Like it was kind of cool looking, but it was
Yeah.
clearly like he needs it to stand up straight, this and that.
It's under his suit.
But make it visual.
Yeah.
So when you have the
So
action
no
figures,
clothes.
it's more full. Yeah, he's just totally naked. What if the version of this, instead he needed help standing up, and he always wore this thing. It was more than a cane. You had more of a
Yeah.
visual representation of how he got so hurt by Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. That feels like it might be a bit too much.
Yeah,
Um, because he does sit down a lot. So
yeah,
okay, it kind of I feel like they get across effectively that he's not in peak condition anymore.
yeah. I'm just trying to think of a way to complicate his design a little bit to make him more appealing
Yeah.
because he just doesn't look that appealing.
Platform shoes, but the ones that have like goldfish in them.
It says Disco Stew.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a right Disco Stud, but I ran out of room. Yeah. What would you give this one for a grade?
Uh, the first half is kind of fun. Kind of wish it was a real ghost or something a little bit more interesting. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say probably like a 3, but it's like a low 3, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's yet another three.
Yeah,
I feel like most 80% of these episodes are three.
yeah,
It's just fine.
yeah. It's another one that ends fairly abruptly too. I don't think you need much more at the end because it's just like they stop him, and then you get the sad part where he's back in jail and nobody's coming to visit him,
Right.
and then you get a nice little happy moment with Terry and his brother.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say, when Terry threw the first of all, they were able to drink milk freely in jail. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. When he throws his glass at him, I was like, that's kind of risky.
yeah,
Uh, but when he was able to stop it using his mind powers, and Terry got him to reveal he was able to do this, it's like, oh, that's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
I
that
didn't know where that
scene.
was going.
It's like that scene in Superman 2.
Yeah,
I actually I think this is a deleted scene from one of the other versions
deep cut.
where Lois Lane she's convinced that Clark is Superman, and to prove it, she pulls a gun on him and shoots him.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I thought she jumped off of something.
that's what happens in the official version,
Okay,
but like the Donner version,
she shoots.
she pulls a gun on him and fires at him, and he kind of flinches, and then he you know turns into Superman.
Uh-huh.
And then he goes, if you had been wrong, Clark Kent would have been killed. And then she goes, blanks. And I saw that and I was like, where the fuck did she get a gun with blanks
Uh-huh.
in Niagara Falls? Did she bring that? Was it
Sell
just hide them on the street?
they sell it in every souvenir store, Clay. I feel like Americans are going to come to the Canadian side. They're going to want to buy guns.
Yeah,
In
that's a good
Canada, we
point.
can't sell. We can sell them blank guns though.
All they sell at Niagara Falls are guns with blanks and giant Superman symbols you can pull off of your chest and throw at people.
So wait, why did he need to change into Superman?
No, I like physically, like he straightens up and he takes his glasses off and he reveals himself to be Superman. He doesn't like open his shirt or anything.
So but when does she shoot him though?
He's dressed as Clark Kent.
And she shoots him.
Yeah,
And then, sorry, so she shoots a blank. So
yeah.
Clark is like, why does she have a gun on me? She pulls the trigger. Nothing hits him, and he decides to show her that he's Superman.
Theoretically, if you want to get super
Yeah,
comic book nerdy
I
about it,
do.
there's no reason why he should have fell for that.
Yeah,
Because he should have been able to see that the gun had no bullets in it,
right.
blanks in it. And even so,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. But like, so nothing hit him. Why? I need to see this scene.
he wanted to tell her, man. It's like it's the kind of thing where he just needed an excuse.
There's a reason why it's deleted.
Yeah,
About that.
it's also that
But she throws herself off a cliff of some kind to
she jumps into
test
the
him.
into the river into Niagara Falls. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Have you been in Niagara before?
I have once a long time ago.
Did you think about that scene when you were there?
I think I did actually.
I did too.
Yeah, that was my only
Yeah.
understanding of Niagara Falls for a long time when
Yeah.
I was a child. Yeah.
But for me, and then there was that episode of The Office where Pam and Jim get married, and I hate that episode.
No, no.
I don't know. I'm happy they're getting married, but it's
Mhm.
just I always skip over that two-parter.
Yeah. You don't like Brian wearing Kleenex boxes to the to the ceremony.
What about that?
Um, I think that's going to do it for Revenant. Unless we talk about the real issue with Revenant, which is that Tom Hardy didn't get nominated for a Best Supporting Actor or didn't win.
Mm,
Leonardo DiCaprio ain't shit in that movie. But
right.
anyway,
Yeah.
that's a different podcast. We'll be right back with Battle. Okay, this one is Babel, written by Stan Berkowitz, directed by Kurt Gaeta. And in this one, seeking vengeance, Shriek uses his knowledge of sound to take away Neo Gotham's ability to verbally communicate. His price for returning things to normal is the life of Batman himself, while discrediting him as a hero.
So, having written the story with Shriek,
Hmm.
anything interesting come to your mind while you were watching this?
Um,
This is the first Shriek episode you've seen since your book has been out.
yes. Um, the thing that came to mind watching this felt like a very classic Batman story. And the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking sort of what I wanted to talk about that I referenced in the last episode.
Yeah,
I think Shriek is the best Batman Beyond villain
yeah,
because the other ones, he's the only one that really sticks and feels like a Batman villain.
yeah,
And the other ones are kind of disposable. Like they
yeah,
brought back Willie
yeah.
Watt,
No good.
no good.
Well, Ink would have been good,
Ink is good.
but
Ink is a good one.
then they will bring it back.
Yeah. But it's so far it's Ink and Shriek are the only two that really like even
So they mentioned Mad Stan at the beginning.
She's not Stan,
He's
yes.
not in it.
Yeah.
They just mention it. So I guess this is one of the episodes he appears in.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
But like even Derek Powers is essentially gone from the show at this point.
Yeah, in my mind, I thought of him as Terry's biggest villain because of what he did to his father.
Yeah.
But yeah, Powers is really off the table for most of the series.
Yeah, I don't know. Does he come back? Because it seems like they just decided to go a different way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad because his blight.
Hmm.
I don't even know where he is. Is he
Well,
in jail?
I think his son is in charge of the company now. Isn't that where they leave it at the end of the last season?
Yeah, yeah, I recall that.
Hmm.
Man, if we were better at this, we would have been more prepared for this question.
Yeah, yeah. All of these things go in one ear and out the other when you watch these things.
But Terry doesn't have his Joker. He doesn't have
Right.
his constant reminder of like, oh, this guy is giggling and he's weird and he's colorful. This is exact opposite. This is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Like the Joker being there in the background always is like keeping Batman moving forward.
Right.
And Terry doesn't have that villain.
Yeah, and even in this, they do give you a little bit of a flashback to the death of his dad. That's this
Right.
one, right?
Yeah.
And I forgot how his dad died. Does he get killed by the Joker gang?
Yeah, I think I'm getting mixed up with my story versus the
Right.
canon.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Powers had him killed. Wait, I don't remember actually. Was it a random act of violence or was Terry's dad killed on purpose by Powers? I think Powers is involved because that sets up Powers to be his nemesis. Talking as slowly as possible.
I know. I'm Googling trying
No,
to
no,
figure
you're
out what
doing
happened.
well. You're doing well, man.
I don't remember. The first thing I Googled somehow brought up a bunch of video game
Porn.
Madden stuff.
Yeah.
Hill returns home to find his father murdered, ostensibly by the Jokers. He later discovers that Derek Powers, who has assumed leadership of emerged Wayne Powers, ordered Warren's death after the latter discovered Powers' plan to mass-produce biological weapons. So it was Derek Powers killed his father, or had his father killed, and blamed it on the Jokers. So
Blamed it on the Jokers, but he didn't hire Jokers. Right.
Unclear.
Okay. So the Mr. Fix then, the guy with the brass knuckles.
Oh yeah, maybe that's who it was. Maybe it was that guy.
Did he have that guy do it?
Yeah, maybe. Sure, let's say yes.
Yeah. Well, in my book, I had that guy do it.
Did that make it all the way through? The Mr. Fix thing?
Oh, Mr. Fix is in
Oh, it did,
issue one.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, issue two. It's more of a cameo, but
Yeah.
for longtime viewers, that they'll know what that
Yeah,
is.
nice. But yeah, Shriek he's the one who feels like a classic Batman villain. This whole episode
He's got a thing. He's got a clear edge on sound. He's a
Yeah.
sound guy. He's got a good design.
They even had the big climax take place in a building in the shape of a giant tuning fork.
Yeah, that was very Adam West.
Yeah, which is great. I've been watching that show, the 66 Batman show, a lot while I've been working out. And that show is awesome. It's so good.
So awesome, ironically, or
It's legitimately good. Like it's a very enjoyable show. Well, the thing is, it knows exactly what it is. You know,
yeah.
the silliness.
You're better at disconnecting and enjoying things than I am, I think.
I mean, it's silly on purpose.
Yeah, you're right.
So I mean, if you're going in expecting Batman: The Dark Knight, you're going to be disappointed. But it's like
That's what I went in expecting.
that's the show's problem.
Shark repellent, but in a serious way.
Okay.
No, I know you're right. I know you're right. It's hard. Like this is the same reason why I have a hard time enjoying kung fu movies and
Hmm.
some of the stuff. You're supposed to just reset your expectations and just enjoy it for what it is.
Hmm.
I'm bad at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be funny. Like it's
Yeah,
when you really get into that show and see what they're doing, it's Batman is hilariously square.
yeah.
Like he's constantly talking about like making sure you put money in the parking meter. Even the Batmobile needs to pay for parking and stuff like that.
All right.
He's the
Yeah,
most nerdy square guy in Gotham City, essentially, who
right.
also solves all their crimes for them.
Yeah. Huh.
And all the bad guys who aren't like the main villains are like hippies. So it's
Right.
very much like the square cop against the hippie kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very much Reaganism before Reagan.
Yeah, it's definitely a tongue-in-cheek
Right.
uh, authority flip
Yeah.
in the '60s kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
yeah. Yeah. So there were 3 seasons of that.
Hmm.
I feel like there are more episodes of PAS than there were of Adam West.
No,
Okay.
I don't. Every season of that show I think is like 25 episodes.
So 75 episodes of Adam West, and I
Double
think
check.
there's more episodes of TAS actually. Yeah.
See how many episodes there were.
All right. I'm going to start speaking slowly here. Um, it was fun today because we're hanging out. You're helping me put Zorro together,
Mhm.
and yeah, recording these podcasts. Um,
Hmm.
Man, I side note, I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around why RoboCop 2 was so bad. You know, Clay's a massive RoboCop fan.
Mhm.
And you're right to be a RoboCop fan. It is pretty amazing. But watching the sequel today, it's beyond awful. And the only thing I can think walking away from it is Frank Miller is not that bad of an actor.
He wasn't bad.
The
He was
little
pretty
stuff
good.
they asked him to do, it was kind of convincing, you know? He's
Yeah,
by far not the worst thing in that movie. The worst thing is the way the script ended up happening, which is supposedly not Frank Miller's fault.
yeah. It really that's a movie that really is in search of a direction.
Yeah,
But the stuff like it's a if you can watch it as a bunch of funny vignettes and like
yeah,
RoboCop,
like SNL with RoboCop.
yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah,
Um, but if you're looking for something that's
yeah,
anywhere close to cohesive, like the
right.
first one is, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they made his costume blue with gold undertones. It's
Yeah, I
such
think
a
they.
weird. He needs to more like a cop. Cops are blue. Let's make him blue.
Yeah, I think so that sort of like purple look is in the first one, but it's just they dialed it up for the second one for some reason. I'm not
Okay.
really sure why,
Yeah.
but yeah, it doesn't. It makes him look. I think it makes him look a lot more plasticky.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
There was 120 episodes of the Adam West Family,
Okay.
and I'm trying to find how many episodes of
120?
yeah, how many episodes of TAS there was.
Uh, Probably less. I mean, if you count Justice League and some of the movies, then probably more. But assuming Batman has 24 episodes per season, that's 100 at most.
Yeah,
So Adam West had more.
yeah. The second season was 60 episodes of the Adam West show, which is very long.
Second season is 60 episodes.
60 episodes. Yeah.
So second season of Batman had more, though, didn't it?
I think the first season of Batman animated series had 60 episodes.
Right. So I'm gonna write Batman. It's such a great podcast.
No, right? We should do these more often, where we just both Google stuff for
Just here
arguing over who had more episodes.
So season 1 had 60, and then how many? What's the Batman animated series? I can't do this. This is bad radio. I'm just gonna let you do it while I keep talking, crowd. Oh man. You know, when I look at your art,
109.
okay.
Now we can talk again.
Okay, good. Podcast continue. What is on your phone?
All right, it's just
Earwax.
yeah.
Um. So I thought this episode was actually pretty good.
Hmm.
I was impressed with the action. I liked um the set pieces, of
Hmm.
course. I thought that it dialed up the stakes really well. I didn't like Shriek's assistant having orgasms with like a
Ollie.
sexual tuning fork. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is Michael Rosenbaum again.
Is that him again?
Yeah,
God, the guy is just out to do creepy voices.
I guess so. Yeah.
First he hit on my ladies in San Diego 15 years ago, and I was yeah, that guy. Um, yeah, so I don't, uh, so I know what I want to draw. Is that there was a scene where there's a crane on top of a building that falls, and Terry uses the Batmobile to shoot grappling hooks into it to catch it and to like stop it from hitting the street too hard.
Mhm.
And he doesn't. It slows the descent, but it doesn't stop the descent. And then some guy in the crane falls again on the top, and he's like dangling from. And I'm a big sucker for big vertical panels
Oh, sure.
where you have hanging things happening and cars driving up, sorry, like a hover car flying up and down. So
Hmm.
that whole sequence I thought was really great action.
Yeah.
Um, I love that shit. Did you have anything that stood out that you want to draw?
Um, I like that stuff. Again, with Shriek, it's tough because like he's a sound-based villain, which is tough to do. I just want to draw Ollie having a good time, just enjoying himself. Um, I want to draw the Batman and Terry text thread.
The sound stuff felt very Twin Peaks.
Yeah, well, yeah, the way that they start talking in weird tongues, yeah, it
Yep.
has a little bit of that vibe to it. But I mean, that's one of the like I think this is one of the more inventive episodes they've done
Yeah, I think I agree.
because you've got Shriek who's putting this sound-based hex on the entire city that makes everybody not be able to understand each other, talking
Yeah.
gibberish, which is very kind of classic Batman, but works really well for him and
Hmm.
works really well in the show. Um, and so it forces them to have to communicate over text, basically.
Yeah.
And you've got the scene with the crane falling, and the old woman is trying to alert the
Mm.
cop, and he
Yeah.
doesn't understand what she's saying, and that kind of stuff.
I like that Shriek has to take off his hearing aids to because he sets the sound fork the fork whatever he turns it on he dials it up to 11
Yeah.
so everybody in Gotham's in pain because they're hearing this screeching noise
Hmm.
and he actually takes his headphones off so he can't hear anything but then he misses the fact that the buildings behind him are crumbling and it's about to fall on him and Terry's yelling at him and he can't hear a fucking thing and that's what
Yeah,
causes his death.
that was the only part I didn't like.
Okay.
I like it in concept, but I kind of feel like if you can't hear anything, you're still going to physically feel a building falling down behind you.
Mhm.
So I like the idea, but
Good show, man.
I know, I don't know.
I think that's pretty clever for a kid show.
Yeah,
But those buildings, were there people in them?
no idea.
Yeah. So when I first saw them as a town, I'm like, is that like a antenna where there's nobody inside? Because I can't get a sense of scale when I saw the.
It's and in order for it to work, again, this is splitting hairs in a Batman cartoon. But like in order for it to work as a tuning fork, it needs to vibrate.
Yeah.
So is it built to do that, or does it just coincidentally look like a tuning fork?
Yeah. It has to have speakers in it to
Yeah,
move. So hopefully, because he puts his hand up to it and he can feel the humming.
yeah.
Yeah.
So does that mean that anything that is shaped like a football goalpost can be used as a tuning fork?
Yeah. Don't you know anything about science?
Apparently not.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, again, I mean, it fits into the Batman thing. Like I didn't bat an eye when they go to the giant tuning fork ship buildings. And of course, that's where Shriek is in the.
Bruce not catch that,
I
honestly.
know, yeah, man. The Brandon Branson family retired on that one when they sold that. Closing it down. We sold the tuning fork building.
Yeah.
Going to Hawaii.
That's like grandkid money right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good for
Well,
him.
I'm not leaving a cent to my kids because they got to work for themselves. I always believe that.
Man. Um, what would you grade this episode?
This one's full. Really, I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
This one, it just it really feels like a classic Batman story.
Yeah.
Um, and it starts and it ends really nicely too with that
Yeah.
story of Batman. You kind of come in at the tail end of the story that Batman's telling about Robin saving his life,
Oh yeah.
but he doesn't really want to talk about it any further. And then at
Yeah.
the end, you get the same kind of thing where Bruce asks Terry a question and he doesn't want to talk about it because he's too busy playing that BMX video game on top of his bat suit.
The Terry's fixing his bat suit, but he's got like this. It looks like if you rip off your BMX handlebars and
Hmm.
shove it into a plastic box cooler, and then there are two little tines coming out the other end, and it's like slowly putting together. I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah,
It's over-designed way to sew a suit together, basically.
very strange.
They redesigned that.
But it was, yeah, because you get this nice bit where what it comes down to is Terry going to sacrifice himself
Yeah.
to save the city and go give himself over to Shriek?
So
If they solve the problem and he doesn't have to,
yeah.
but the question remains, was he going to do that?
So the big emotional moment in the episode was when Barbara calls Bruce and she says that Shriek wants Batman.
Hmm.
And Bruce goes, this kid's done everything for the city. Like he verbalizes his support for Terry, which
Mm.
Bruce doesn't willingly do
Right,
often.
right.
He kind of plays it close to the vest. So for Terry to hear that Bruce is fighting to defend him and really proud of him for all the stuff he's done, like the moment, I kind of wish they leaned into that a bit more in
Yeah,
some way because
yeah.
I think this is a very good episode. I think this might be a top 10 of the series,
I think so.
but I still don't think it's a five.
Yeah,
It's missing the emotional element that Heart
yeah.
of Ice has, and I feel like if Terry was starting to doubt himself because Bruce never gave him assurance or whatever, and I don't know, something in that vein.
Yeah, I think there's missing there's a lot of plot, but the story is kind of
Yeah,
thin, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Because what's missing is something that Terry's dealing with at the beginning
yeah,
that follows him through this and then is ultimately resolved at the end of it, whether that's
mm,
emotional or whatever.
yeah,
Some sort of thing he's talking about with Bruce. Like I like the thing with the story that they're telling, but I don't know if it I feel like maybe could have fashioned that story to be thematically more
yeah.
important or relevant.
Right.
Um,
The same for the previous episode when Matt, his brother, talks about let's revive Dad.
mhm,
There's a nice emotional moment where they acknowledge that their father's gone and the kids aren't over it yet.
right.
And I would say more of that stuff, please. Like that's
Yeah.
really nice. That stuff. Let the story breathe and let it set in.
Yeah.
But the nature of this series is moving so quick paced into action scene to action scene with crazy guitar solos. It's like I feel like they're purposefully not doing that stuff because they think kids don't want to hear it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it goes into what we've talked about a lot before, where this seems to just be just by design a much more faster paced show
Yeah,
than TAS was.
yeah,
TAS is a lot more deliberate in a lot of episodes.
yeah,
Um, and for better or worse, they're losing something,
yeah.
which is unfortunate because I think there's a lot of stuff they could get into. I really liked in the dream sequence. There's this weird like church organ music playing with
Yeah,
like monks
I like
singing.
that too.
I don't know what that was doing in there.
It felt like Pure Moods was playing.
Yeah, I looked down for a second and I heard that music and I was like, is he supposed to meet Shriek at the church or something? Like, what? Where is this coming? And he's just having a dream about the day that his father died.
Yeah,
Very strange.
it's nice because it's not wailing guitar solo music like everything else in the
Yeah.
dude.
I do like that they refer to Shriek as Shriek, the sound genius with an unsound mind.
Yeah,
That's a great line.
the news reporter said that.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
fun.
great intro if you were going to intro him as a wrestler. The sound genius with the unsound mind.
Yeah. So let's talk about. So the news reporter said that
Mhm.
the guy on the news, they have a way of animating the faces. They set them into the picture behind the thing they're reporting on.
Yep.
So you have but they only draw the shiny parts of the face. They let the dark parts of the face fall into the background. But that's where you're going to see the building on fire or the whatever crossing guard, strangling a kid, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's a creative challenge to animate something that way. But I wonder, like story wise, what the thought was because it's you're going a long way. Like, let's reinvent how news is,
Yeah.
visualized.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good or not, but I know it's very interesting. I've never seen anyone else do it other than this show.
Yeah, I think it does make it feel futuristic because it makes
Yeah,
the news anchor feel like
yeah,
very inhuman,
yeah.
like
It
it's
looks
an
like
android or something.
Max Headroom
Yeah.
giving you the news or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I've never seen that done in anything else.
Yeah.
Did you do that in your book? Did you do any new stuff? I can't remember.
I plan to at the beginning because I feel like the new stuff is helpful because it does a lot of heavy lifting on like where is Gotham at? Where
Yeah.
is the psychology of the average citizen? And you can kind of quickly encompass that by having a news guy. But I did it in Fuck Jesus. I did it in White Knight, and I'm like, it's kind of a tired trope that everyone steals from Frank Miller.
Hmm.
So I don't think I ended up using it here. But I thought about doing it if I needed it, but I ended up not needing it.
Yeah. You should have done the whole last issue as a giant news report
Yeah.
from eyewitnesses.
Yeah. What do you think about
This is why they don't let me write my own books.
in plots sometimes you have
Mhm.
characters that are like, well, what do we do now? What do we do this? And suddenly you hear the news pop on and the reporter says exactly the thing that the person's missing. They
Yeah.
give you the piece of
Yeah.
model. In today's news, so and so hit and run and blah blah blah. And the first like, oh my God, that's the thing we're looking for.
Yeah.
It just comes in very
It's
conveniently.
yeah. My favorite is when like someone gets a phone call and they're like, "Oh my God, are you watching the news?" And they go, "No." And then they turn the news on at exactly the point where the anchor explains what's going on. But if the person who called them told them to watch the news,
Right.
they've already given them that information.
Yeah, rewind it like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Because that's when I freaked out and decided to call you.
Yeah. No, that stuff is, I find that stuff very
Right.
convenient and very fun.
The one that gets me is when on TV and movies, on the telephone, no one ever says bye. They just hang up on each other.
Yes.
Because I'll say bye, and you say bye, and we're cool and we're still friends, and then we hang up.
Mhm.
TV movies, they don't do that at all. They're
No
like,
time.
here's plot, plot, plot. Okay. Like,
Everybody in a movie said bye, it would be a 4-hour movie.
bye, bye. You hang up. You hang up.
It's not dramatic to say bye. You have to like clap the phone shut if it's 1999. Yeah, yeah. This is a good one. I'm I know we've talked about this a bit before, but I'm still trying to figure out why Terry doesn't have that many good villains.
Yeah.
Um, because I just got finished playing the Miles Morales Spider-Man game,
Hmm.
which is really good, but it kind of made me feel I don't read the comic, I don't read the Miles comics, so I don't know. I could be talking on my ass here, but it didn't really give me the impression that Miles has many villains that are unique to him,
Mm.
because the same villain in the game, more or less, one of two villains in the game is the same villain from Spider-Verse. So clearly, okay, the Prowler is the key villain for Miles,
Yeah.
but I don't know of any other ones. And I was just like, why is that? Because I mean, there's so much to do.
Does he have his own versions of the Hunter or
At this point, I think he's just in the regular continuity, so I think he's just
yeah,
Spider-Man villains.
right.
Um, but it made me think about Batman Beyond, because I was like, why is the pool so shallow for villains for these characters when it feels like
Yeah.
it should really blow things open?
And ironically, I feel like we talked about this before, but I recall them saying they wanted to design Beyond villains to be like future Spider-Man villains.
Right, yeah.
But we never found any proof of that.
No, it's funny the overlap too, especially because one of Miles's powers is he can turn invisible,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
what Terry can do. But
Right.
so it's all one big incestuous
Yeah.
idea.
Like going back to Bruce talking about Robin showing up at the last minute, that just makes me want to inject more TAS into this. I
Yeah,
want Terry to hear Bruce's stories and learn from them. And I don't know why they didn't dive into that.
mm,
I know they felt like, let's try to avoid that. Let's make Terry his own thing. I get that.
hmm
But Bruce is so compelling, and Terry would gain a lot from these stories.
yeah,
And you get the bonus of like Bruce telling a story, you get TAS flashbacks of stuff we've never seen before. Like, how was that not a win?
yeah.
Honestly, that would have made the entire series better if they had indulged in
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, and they don't really. I think there's more meat on the bone to have Terry interact with, especially Barbara.
Hmm.
But like, you never see Nightwing, you never see
Yeah,
Tim, you
yeah,
never see Catwoman.
Yeah.
These are all characters that I feel like he could learn stuff from.
And they did it for Return of the Joker.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Return of the Joker is the best Batman Beyond
Yes.
thing there is. So
Pretty much objectively.
you
Yeah.
why handicap yourself like that?
Yeah.
I know you've got this moral, you feel like you need to like defend Terry and give him his own universe. But like, really though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wish there was more interaction with Barbara because she is Commissioner Gordon
Yeah.
here, and he doesn't really interact with. He doesn't interact with her nearly as much
No.
because he's interacting with Bruce all the time.
Right.
So it would be nice if he split his time a little bit more with her.
Yeah. Or maybe an episode where he's in a fight with Bruce and he decides to go to Barbara for, you know, for her opinion.
Hmm.
She gives him a case to solve. So he's working for Barbara for once, and that pisses Bruce off. Like maybe Terry, there's a subplot to the whole series where Terry is trying to piece together what happened to break the family apart.
Hmm.
But I know that they addressed all that in Return of the Joker. But
Hmm.
it would have been great to have that subplot always in the background, like
Yeah.
the X-Files way. It was like, ooh, what's happened to his sister?
Yeah.
But they kept it shallow. They kept it as like, let's just keep it moving forward. Terry's got a villain of the week. He fights the guy. We play some music. He goes to high school. Bruce
Hmm.
does something that's remind you of old Batman, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like they handicap themselves unnecessarily for this whole series.
Yeah, I wish it would be great if there's an episode where Terry needed some help. Let's say he's in a fight with Bruce,
Yeah.
and he picks up the bat phone and he calls Dick, and you cut to Dick Grayson, who's
Yeah.
like in his 50s.
Yeah.
He's a bartender at a beachfront bar in Jamaica, like a cocktail. And you see, he picks up his phone, it says Bruce, and then he just hits reject call, puts it down.
He was a bartender in a comic recently, but he had amnesia, so instead of calling himself Dick, he called himself Rick.
That's right.
Rick
Yeah.
Grayson? Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Grayson. Yep.
Yeah. Good if I know that.
People, man, I remember when they did that. People lost their fucking minds. Why do people who read comics? I apologize, everyone, but do people who read comics not know how comic books work? Like,
How so?
like anytime they do something like this, where it's like Dick Grayson is no longer Dick Grayson, he's Rick Grayson, and people lose their minds. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
And it's like, wait 8 months,
Yeah.
a year tops,
Right.
and he'll be Dick Grayson at the end of the year.
You're talking about Captain America being a Nazi and how he's clearly not a Nazi.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like, you're not going to make him.
It's so many preemptive
Yeah.
reactions based on stories that they don't let play out, and,
Yeah.
and not to mention, like, it's comic books. It's going to revert back to the way it was in a year.
Because comics is like a male soap opera where Wednesday Warriors want to come in and bitch and moan about things. It's like Days of Our Lives at General Hospital
Hmm.
with superheroes. And I feel like this is my wife's argument, not mine. I
Mm.
feel like she's right.
Oh no, definitely. No, it's definitely a soap
You
opera.
just need drama to mull over with your buddies every Wednesday.
But see, that's different
Okay.
because I feel like mulling over the drama of a story
Yeah.
is different from uh, burning down the world because they made a change to the story that you haven't read yet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where it's like when people get mad about casting decisions before they watch the movie.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, you're getting mad about something that you don't have any experience in because
Right.
you haven't watched it or read it yet. If you get to the end of it and you think it was stupid, more
Right.
power to you.
So we'll take the Captain America being a Nazi example.
Mhm.
When that hit, in my example here, I could be wrong, I would hope that 95% of readers knew what you're saying. Oh, just
I would
a
hope,
few
yeah.
weeks, like whatever, we're not going to freak out here. The few that chose to react radically or went online and Twitter and the dog pile of people
Yeah.
and complain, and that's what got headlines.
Right.
And it gives the impression everyone is freaking out about this thing. No. 5% of the idiots are freaking out because they're bored.
It's true. But I do think that, especially on Twitter, there is like a ripple effect
Yeah.
where there's the 5% of people who are the loudest,
Yeah.
but eventually that ripples out. So everybody feels like they need to address it
Yeah.
in some way
Right.
to make it
You're right.
to making them feel like they're
Yeah.
up on what's going on.
It's where the conversation in comics is,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Like we're not all there at the bar together, so we're sort of like, where is the mass text thread happening? It's
Yeah.
always happening on Twitter. And even though the idiots hog the microphone. We're all sucked into. Now we're all talking about it
Yeah.
because that's just what happens.
So you've got where the rock hits the lake, which is the loudest specific about the incident.
Right.
And then the furthest ripple are the people who just like
Yeah.
make snarky comments that half mention what's going on. It's like a subtweet under a subtweet kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are we doing? What is this the best thing we can do with our time?
Is there healthy outrage and discussion of comics? Healthy comic debates in shops where people are like, "Oh, it's faster, Superman, Flash,"
I don't know.
or is it all just toxic now?
I hope it's not. The other stuff is fun.
Yeah,
Happy to argue about who's faster. No.
yeah. What if Juggernaut hits Puck? The immovable object hits a unstoppable force.
Oh, you mean Blob?
Sure. Thank you.
The immovable object meets unstoppable force.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Blob?
Yeah.
I thought it was Puck.
I know what Puck does.
He's Canadian.
Yeah.
He's got hairy arms.
That's his power. I know he's smaller than Wolverine and wears a weird leotard.
He's
He's got a big
Puck.
P on it. Yeah.
Not
Welcome. Come to the next episode if you want to know what the deal with Puck is.
not looking it up. We did too many things already. Just gonna remain ignorant on Puck.
Yeah. But I that's just the thing. It just always bugs me because it's like
Yeah.
articles that are out there for like to this didn't get any traction, but when I
Right.
saw this article the other day, we were talking about this. I can't remember if we mentioned this on the other show we just recorded,
Mhm.
but the article that I came across that said it's official, Catwoman is a professional wrestler in the White Knight universe.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like I feel like that entire article was made specifically for people to go, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's the nature of the beast, I guess. But
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, we just can't control the news and the headlines of comics. They want clickbait, basically. So
yeah,
they're gonna contort what you and I say and draw conclusions where there are none. And honestly, you and I talk a lot about the books that we're working on in White Knight, and I'm very honest here, and I give all kinds of spoilers, obviously.
Mhm.
And a lot of creators don't do that. So, yeah, maybe it's my own fault. I
Mhm.
don't give them stuff to run with sometimes. But
I'm
my theory is if I give them enough stuff, they'll be overwhelmed with it, and they won't run with anything.
yeah,
You know?
I'm worried that because I know myself,
Yeah.
the more interviews that I end up doing,
Yeah.
the quicker I'm going to start wanting to work the interviewer and just start seeing what headlines I can generate with bullshit,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
feels real fun.
Right.
It might be destructive.
Yeah, I know it won't be hard, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the interviewers aren't doing fact checks. They just put about whatever you tell them. They're not getting paid a whole lot,
Yeah.
you know?
I'll just have to start giving different answers for everything
Yeah,
for the same
Catwoman's a
questions.
Catwoman's a prostitute. Catwoman's the mayor. Catwoman's Batman.
All at
Catwoman.
the same time.
Yeah,
Yes.
just see who runs with
And
what.
then you read the book and he's like, oh my God, she's all of those things. It's amazing. So yeah, this would be a 4 from me.
Yeah,
4 from you?
it's a high 4.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think it's a top 10, but I'm still not giving it a 5.
Yeah, yeah. It's just the Batman Beyond episodes are just missing
Yeah,
missing some sort of zip to them.
yeah.
But this is the closest I think we've gotten in a while, at least.
I still maintain that the opening episode of the series was a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Where Bruce has a gun and he's having anxiety,
Oh yeah,
panic
yeah,
attack, heart attack, whatever it is. Yeah, there are 2 5s so far in this, I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember what they are.
no,
I don't write this stuff down.
pilot, and then there was another one. I gave it a 5 because I qualified it by saying it's not Heart of Ice, but this is a Beyond 5.
Yes, that does sound familiar.
Yeah.
And we can kill another 15 minutes while we try to look it up and remember. I think that's going to do it for us on the show today. Thank you guys for listening. Keep your ears open. We're going to do it. We're going to have a special episode coming out. Probably the next episode we put out, I would guess.
Yeah.
Where we do a bit of a breakdown and postmortem on Beyond the White Knight and some of the other stuff in that vein.
And we talk about the gun verse.
Yeah, we talk about the James Gunn stuff a bit. Yeah, we're both very interested but also confused by it, which is the best way to be.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy to see something different being tried.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Clay.
And we'll be back next time with Terry's Friend Dates a Robot and Eyewitness.
Wait, it's actually called Terry's Friend Dates a Robot?
Terry's Friend Dates a Robot.
An Eyewitness?
An Eyewitness.
Okay.